All right, howdy Hexkins, your pal Vic here, back again for HFN episode 5. This is, the 5th episode, and we're still rolling along. And I'm going to bring to y'all some of the important news that's happened to our community this past week. This past week, been a lot of ups and downs, to say the least. And I got to touch on everything. I'm going to touch on everything the best I can. This is not from an insider perspective. In no way am I an insider with the leaders in the community. I know what y'all know, and I hope to be a part of the community going forward. But everyone kind of has to get their feet wet, so to speak, and I don't anticipate anybody just starting out in content creation to have connections to everybody or anything like that. But nevertheless, I do intend to use this channel to bring y'all the latest updates and the latest news of what's going on. And so we're going to touch on a few things. And this episode is probably going to run a little longer because there's just a lot to go over. And that all being said, welcome to the episode. Let's get started. I'm going to pop it over to this, and we're going to alt tab over. Right, November 17th. Got a few things on the agenda today. First off, we're going to go over some videos from this past week. Had a lot of great videos this week, including the return of Richard Hart. So we're going to go over that. I'm going to talk about some rifts in the community, frankly. I'm going to talk about it as neutrally as I can. I don't really know all that much other than what I can glean off social media. And we're going to present that to y'all. And a lot of this stuff is developing and could change at a moment's notice. And once again, this channel is not meant to be, drama alert, anything like that. I'm just covering what's going on, folks. And that includes the dirty, the stuff that isn't pleasant. And that happens with every community. And, Hex is no exception. But it's something I want to cover, and it's good as of today. I mean, it's updated as of today. It's what I know. If you know more, I always encourage anyone to reach out to me through DM. Like Twitter is best. That's the thing I check most. I'm also on Telegram. You can reach out to me there. Did I get something wrong? Maybe. Did I not touch on something? Maybe. Reach out to me. I'm out there. But after that, we're going to touch on some social media stuff, get a little bit more positive. We got a lot of positive news too. It's not all negative. People get wrapped up in the negative stuff. And I've been talking a lot about this, and we're going to, get into this later, but we get so caught up in the negative news all around. And I'm talking outside of Hex, with the shot, what I'm talking about, with mandates, with just life in general, bringing us down. And that, unfortunately, that comes out in other avenues. So anyways, got a little bit of news on the Pulse chain, a little bit of news on the documentary. We're going to touch on that. The 5555 Road Tour. They're going to make a new stop here coming up, and got a little bit on that, and we're going to wrap things up. So videos. First, I wanted to point out this video, and Johnny Chaos shared this video on Twitter, and I came across it, and I really like this guy. I have not been able to find this guy in particular on Twitter, but I do really enjoy this video. Now, this video is done by a YouTube channel called Crypto Junkies, and this video is called The Future of Finance or Not. And basically what it's going over, and it's very quick. You got to watch it a couple times, but kind of goes over how the Bitcoin ETF proposal was denied by the SEC, how the community is kind of taken aback by that and disappointed, and it's potentially led to some of the dips that they've seen after making new all-time highs, some of the dips that we've seen in Bitcoin. And we're hearing rumors about how this may be the double top and that it's going to keep going down. But it's funny, he looks at it in a different perspective, and in a way I think a lot of our community looks at the space, in that, you know, we're dealing with a lot of promise coins here, a lot of ongoing projects. And you look at a site like a CoinDesk, for example, or a Coin Market Cap, and you know how all these sites, they start to look the same. They start to look cookie cutter, and you see the same news articles. You see the same, you know, ticker. You know, this coin's up 1%. This coin's down 2%, and it all starts to bleed together. It all starts to look exactly like the legacy stock market, right? And another thing he points out, and as I'm sure we all know, CoinMarketCap is owned by Binance. And the conflict of interest there, people don't know, you know, 99% of the community doesn't know about this. Hexicans do. And we talk about it all the time because we have a completed product, you see. And at the 850 mark, this creator mentions that, you know. And it's funny how on CoinMarketCap, you got Hex at 201, and then you've got Yahoo Finance, which uses the API of CoinMarketCap, and they've got Hex ranked at 8. And it's like, how does that make sense, you know? And we know Johnny Chaos has a lawsuit against CoinMarketCap in this regard. And it's so encouraging to see someone out there. I don't know this gentleman. I haven't seen him before. Like I said, I haven't found him on Twitter, but it looks like he's been making videos for a while. And this is a really good one. And it touches on a lot of things, and it touches on them very fast. So I strongly recommend checking this video out and getting a little bit more knowledgeable about the promise coin space and how kind of the puppeteers are making cryptocurrency into just another stock market. You know, where, you know, they pick winners and losers. This one, it's definitely encouraging, you know. Because you watch this video like this and you're like, this is what we're getting away from, right? You know, this is what we're moving away from. It Hex, the completed product that it is, you don't have to spend your time playing these games, right? So anyways, that's all I'm going to say on that. It's a good little video. I highly recommend it. Oh, here's a good one. And this was on the 15th as well. And this was, Matty Allin and Matt from Crypto Heartbeat were together at last, I like to say. These two gentlemen are both kind of have similar backgrounds in that they have, Matty's in, public health and psychiatry. Well, not psychiatry, but like social welfare. And Matt with Crypto Heartbeat is in the nonprofit space. And both of them have very philosophical outlooks on life, which I'm drawn towards. I always have been. And this is a great video because I've been meaning to see these two talk with one another. And I touch on a couple key points in their video here. So at 26:25, Matt brings up this very, very interesting point about a scientific study to quantify luck. What is luck and how does it affect us? And, excuse me, just ate not too long ago, so I'm still coming up a little bit. But it was interesting because the study found that there was really no one luckier than anyone else. There were two different philosophical approaches to life, and people that found themselves to be lucky, they they see good things as fortunate occurrences, whereas they see bad things as just an obstacle to something good that's going to come. And it's so refreshing to hear that outlook on life, because it's naive to say there is no luck in life, because we all find ourselves in circumstances where it's coin flip. One thing could have went a different way. You could have tripped on a stair as you're walking down the stairs, broke your leg. Well, I mean, this happens to everybody. It's how you treat these things mentally, what you do in response to them. Is it unlucky to break your leg falling down the stairs? Yeah, sure. But it's how you approach it, you see. And so I love that discussion. I love that part of the discussion. And they talk on a couple other things. One last thing I wanted to point out, the pulsepromise.com. I love this. Matt has been pushing this. He wants to organize what's called the Compassion Cartel. It's a fun alliteration. Encouraging those that have sacrificed for the pulse chain to make a pledge, to set a little bit aside to do good in the world. As Richard instructs us, as hopefully your conscience instructs you to do, is to leave the world in a better place than it was before you got there, right? So it's a great little video. Highly recommend it. Very encouraging to hear these two gentlemen talk. And it's overdue, because even though Matt hasn't been on the scene that long, we could kind of see similarities between the two, and I really enjoyed this video. And of course, Richard came back this week on the 15th, another video on the 15th. He brought with him some, how should we say, it's like rather sternness, because the community has been spinning its wheels a little bit lately. We're anxious. We are going through a dip. We don't know exactly when pulse chain's coming out. There's just a lot going on, right? Everyone just kind of needs to take a breath, right? Take a breath and center yourself. So a couple of things he talks about. There's going to be an update on the pulse chain. There's going to be a new testnet version. And most likely with this new testnet version, we are going to see the sacrifice credits and how it's going to affect how many coins that sacrificers receive. We did learn that Richard did catch COVID at some point during his trip. Everything seems all right. He says it was nothing more than like a cold, which is actually what I've kind of been hearing as well, on a personal level. But so thankfully he is doing better. A credit card on-ramp in the works. Keep that under your hat. 1350 talks about coin ranking sites and economic situation. It kind of gets, you want to take, Richard is such a great guy, right? We all know this, but spiritually he has this calmness to him that we all, kind of want to emulate going forward. We get so frustrated and tense for all the stuff that's going on over the promise coin space, being corrupted, people just underestimating the potential of Hex, the financial product it is, and it just tears at us. And I can see that. I can see that in social media. I can see that with how we're treating one another. So think we should all try and do a better job at calming down and emulating what Richard does here in this video. Another thing he points out is the whole birthday tweet. We need to stop reading into it, start thinking about how we shouldn't waste our time so much looking at for little hints. Take that how you will. Some people were having fun with it. Some people may have taken it a little bit more seriously. Look, life is crazy, all right? I say try not to let yourself get too worked up over every little thing you see online, right? Oh, but as always, if you're don't verify everything. Don't accept everything you see at face value, right? That's an important thing. You should always, always, always do your own research. Outbound messaging is king. That's a quote from Richard himself. One thing you can do to help the biggest thing you can do to help the community is onboarding and spreading the message. That's it. Bottom line, end of. Speculation's not going to get you anywhere. We can have fun, but onboard messaging is king. All right. And at the end of the video, he gives a shout out to the Crypto Sparbook team, and they're doing great work. I give a shout out to them. I give a shout out to them every episode. They are doing great work, and we're going to talk about them a little bit later in the episode. Okay, so in negative news, and this is pretty recent development stuff. Stuff is still ongoing, but we are seeing some strong disagreements within the community. So last night we had the Quant Gang had their latest episode. Right at the beginning of the episode, Wales Only gives a speech about how he was not happy that Matty Olin gave a interview to Clay Collins of nomics.com, and ultimately he took a stand and said he didn't want to be associated with the Quant Gang. That would be his last episode, and he left the episode. So there's a bit of a rift going on right now, and I think everyone can kind of sense it. But earlier today, Freddie Quotes came out strong against Wales, seemingly out of the blue, since even as of a day or two ago, they've been relatively friendly back and forth as far as I know. But there's been some conflict. There's been some words exchanged, as you can see on the screenshots I have on this slide. It's an ongoing story, but a couple of things to point out is Fred alludes to there's something bigger going on. You see in that last tweet there from this afternoon. That's actually not the tweet. Oh wait, it's on the next slide. But anyways, there's some hostility going on between these two, nevertheless. And I kind of want to go a little bit deeper in this one. So this is the tweet I was referring to. And here it is from actually this morning. You can see Freddie Quotes. There's a major riff behind the scenes, and it's literally creating all of this. I wish everyone knew what was going on. So there's some issues with the content creation community. I'm not privy to it. I'm not, I don't even really consider myself an OG. I have some stakes from before Big Payday, a week or two before. It's nothing crazy. I'm like a day, 320, 310 hexagon, something like that. But I kind of want to get a little bit deeper than this. And I wrote some stuff. I'm much better I'm a much better writer than I am a talker, or certainly extemporaneous, off the cuff. Never been great at that. But I wrote some stuff here on this slide, so I'm going to leave it up for a second. I would suggest you pause the video, read over what is on this slide, but ultimately what it comes down to is the human condition has a duality to it, all right? And I apologize for getting a little bit philosophical here, but this is the way I view things. And it has to do with boundaries, right? So you're constantly struggling with the idea of how far you should push a boundary, you as an individual, and also everything external to you. So I give the example of, think of a young child, right? Raising a child of your own, or just, just a young child, right? You can do two things with a child. You can lock them up in a room. They'll, in a safe room, right? They'll never be affected by externalities if you do that. But how will they grow? How are they going to develop? How will they experience things and learn what's good and bad, right and wrong? But by contrast, you can let the child roam free. No boundaries whatsoever. Do what you want. Go far, far away. No rules. What if the child gets lost? What if the child gets hurt? You see where I'm going with this philosophically? There is this constant struggle between opening the borders, opening the boundaries to any and everything, and completely shutting yourself off, remaining pure, not letting anything affect you. We're all constantly struggling with this battle. And some people are more inclined towards one or the other, and neither is necessarily right or wrong, because we're all, fighting this same battle. And the Hex community has to fight this same battle. Every community does. Every person, every group, every country, any entity has to fight this battle 24/7. Every decision you make. Even something as to give another example. Let's say you eat like a ice cream cone, or something that's not good for you. You're knowingly putting something in your body that really has very little nutritional value. So these are like empty calories, but you enjoy it, And I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but it's like we need to be kind to one another. We need to be good to one another. We're all volunteers, and we're all trying our best. Now, there's some people that are misguided, that are naive, and some may be malevolent. And we've got to make those determinations. But we really got to do a better job at being more understanding with one another. And so I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but forgiveness is a powerful, powerful thing. And, always try and look into a person's soul. And there's nothing wrong with taking a step back or pausing and removing yourself from the situation, regathering your thoughts and coming back to it. Or there's always the phrase, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. It is what it is. So take those 2 cents for what they're worth. And that's just my take on it all so far. So we're going to move on some better stuff, some more positive stuff. Social media highlights. The real God Will, as he's known on Twitter. He is the actual God Will. There was some dispute because there was another gentleman trying to be the Godwell. Seemed pretty obvious he was a parody account, but some people were confused. The real Godwell showed up, made a Twitter account. He's out there now, and through some him sending some funds to a wallet that Gary Funding Jim had, he was able to, and he sent it from a wallet that's a known Godwell wallet. We confirmed that it was him. And so it's great news to have him out there. He's got great outlook on the product. He's been around the space for a long time. He's a Ethereum Genesis. He has an Ethereum Genesis wallet, so he's been around the cryptocurrency space for a long time. We know he's a holder. We know he has a good long-term outlook. We know he knows how to delay gratification. And a lot of his tweets are very encouraging for the product. And this, unfortunately, has been somewhat overshadowed by a lot of negative stuff going on by the dip, such and such. But it's great, positive, bullish news for us. So definitely check out his account if you haven't already. He's got some great tweets and really interesting stuff there. Another positive, bullish thing, the Crypto.com central exchange has a DeFi wallet, and they've added Hex as a valid ERC20 token to it, as you can see on this screenshot. This doesn't, very little tangible purpose in this. If someone uses that wallet, then they can use Hex, or they can store Hex in that wallet, whatever. But it kind of opens the door, so to speak. The gatekeeping, just a little bit less gate kept. And there's already been people pushing toward at Crypto.com. Hey, look, you got Hex on your wallet. Why not add it to your exchange? So who knows if they ever will or not, but it's bullish to see these big accounts. And Crypto.com is a very big account, very big player in DeFi. They spend a lot of money in marketing. Not that I suggest or endorse using them in any way. Although I should say, I have used them. I do use them to on-ramp, but I use them as a tool, which we all should consider everything in this space other than Hex to be tools. You should research it. You should do your homework. And you should never put in anything that you can't afford to lose. This is all typical things you hear, but they're all tools. Be it Crypto.com, be it Binance, be it Coinbase. Now, some are worse than others, granted, but just treat them like the snakes they are. Okay, but in any event, great news, bullish news. A new segment I wanted to bring up. I thought this was kind of fun. I don't know if we'll do this every week or what, but Hex users unaffected. We see this on Twitter all the time. I love this. There's an interesting news story that broke on the 11th, and apparently Binance froze Doge withdrawals. Excuse me. There was some update to the Doge network, but Binance didn't apply it, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do to account for it. And so apparently a bunch of old transactions were pushed through, or something happened, something technical. There's a story on CoinDesk about it, and I screenshotted a couple of tweets. But basically, this is a perfect example and a perfect segue from what I was saying earlier about how you never trust these exchanges. You don't leave any money on these exchanges. This is a 100% the reason why. Now, you shouldn't be playing with a coin like Doge anyways, but there are thousands of people who leave their money on these exchanges. And, it blows my mind how much control you're putting in the hands of these corporations, they don't care at all about you, And this is just a perfect example. So, in any event, interesting story. Hex users unaffected. As always, Hex users unaffected. As long as you're in Hex, you retain your digital assets in your wallet, then you're golden. Preferably staked. You want to be a part of the staker class, is what I say. But in any event, little pulse chain news, and this is kind of going back to what Richard said in his stream, but there have been updates to the GitHub. Testnet v2 is not out yet, but it's getting very close. And one of the things about Testnet v2 is we're going to see the sacrifice credit allocations. So I thought that was really interesting. I think that'll go a long way to kind of relieving some of the tension that's going on in the community right now. The highest stakes update, big update. The Godwill, we talked about earlier, 100 Ethereum donation to the documentary, which, depending on when they either cash out or how they use it, but Ethereum is about, $4,200, so give or take. So that winds up being, just under $500,000. Somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000, about $420,000, give or take. But amazing, big donation. They've probably, as of this recording, gotten somewhere in the vicinity of $1 million in donations for this documentary. So this could be a big documentary. I don't know how you couldn't be bullish on this. This thing's probably going to come out, I would say, based on their tweets, based on what they're talking about, sometime late next year, maybe 2023. But this is big news, folks. I mean, can you imagine getting something like this on a Netflix or an Amazon Prime or a Hulu, what have you? And the people that it'll bring in, Hex is pre-viral, right? But then you have this documentary on a Netflix that we can direct people to. What if that thing goes viral? People are like, oh yeah, I'll throw $100 and I'll throw $1,000. And adds up, right? And then just things start moving faster and faster and faster. So don't be discouraged, right? This is great news. This is such bullish news. I want to encourage everybody. I mean, it's really a lot of great stuff happening. All right. Lastly, 5555 road trip. Cleveland was a success. Great workshop. The boys were in Cleveland. That was their last Midwest stop. Next, they are on to Albany on November 23rd. And that's great. So if you're in Albany, definitely show up there. We're going to hit Boston and New York. So they're going to do all this New England travel for Thanksgiving. Steph will be at the New York event on November 30th. Steph of the Staker app. So that'd be great. I'd love to meet Steph, and I hope anyone who's at the New York event gets to meet him. And of course, as always, freedomtv.info for more information if you're interested. Learning more about how you can help, learning when an event will happen in your area. Definitely look into it. Okay, folks, that's it. Like, subscribe, comment. I love y'all. I love the Hex community. We're going to do big things, folks. This is why I made this channel. I see the potential in this thing. Do you? What are you doing for the community? Go out there. Do little things. Talk to your friend about it. Talk to your family about it. I do little things. I like, I print out some stickers. I just slap them places. Back of signs, gas pumps, ATM machines, little things like that. I don't know if it's going to do anything, but it's fun. It's easy. It's simple. It's cheap. Something simple you can do. Of course, holding Hex is a great thing to do too. Buying the actual product and holding it. delaying gratification was great. So I just want to close things. Everyone in the content creation community is a volunteer. All right. And you're responsible for your own decisions. So don't let a tweet or anything, get you all worked up. You don't have to go through life like that. Just double and triple verify everything you see on social media. Check with Richard, check with Telegram, check with the official website. Don't ever take anything at face value. Don't throw more money in that you need, that you're going to need for your day-to-day life. And just make sensible decisions. And hex.com to learn more, hex.fan to sign up. And this is the Hex Fan Network. I'm your pal, Vic. I appreciate y'all. Be good to one another. Take to heart what I said. We'll be back again next week. And y'all be seeing more of me. All right, y'all take it easy.